Here's something that might shock you. Right now, as you're watching this video, someone in America is having a stroke. In fact, every 40 seconds, someone in our country experiences this life-changing event. And here's what's even more startling: if you're over 65, or if someone you love is, the numbers become deeply personal. 3 out of every 4 strokes happen to people in this age group. But before you feel overwhelmed, let me share something that will change how you think about this entirely. What if I told you that up to 80% of strokes could be prevented? Not with expensive treatments, not with complicated medical procedures, but with simple changes you can make starting today, right in your own home. Changes so straightforward that you'll wonder why no one ever explained them this clearly before. My name is Dr. Sarah Chen, and I've spent the last 15 years as a neurologist, working directly with stroke patients and their families. I've seen the fear in people's eyes when they realize how close they came to losing everything: their independence, their memories, their ability to communicate with the people they love. But I've also witnessed something incredible. People who took simple, preventive steps and completely transformed their health trajectory. You see, most people think stroke prevention is complicated. They imagine strict diets, exhausting exercise routines, or expensive medical monitoring. The truth is far different, and frankly, much more hopeful. The most powerful stroke prevention tools aren't found in a pharmacy or a gym. They're sitting right in your kitchen, hiding in your daily routines, and waiting in the simple choices you make every single day. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with the confidence that every choice you make, from your first sip of coffee to your evening walk, is actively protecting your brain. Picture yourself 6 months from now, feeling more energetic, sleeping better, and knowing that you've dramatically reduced your stroke risk without turning your life upside down. This isn't wishful thinking. This is science. And today, I'm going to walk you through 11 life-changing habits that can make this vision your reality. These aren't just tips, they're your toolkit for independence, your roadmap to peace of mind, and your gift to the people who love you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've heard about healthy living before. How is this different? Here's how. We're not talking about generic health advice. We're talking about specific, targeted strategies that address the exact mechanisms that lead to stroke in people over 65. Every habit I'm about to share has been carefully chosen based on the latest research and my years of clinical experience. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 68 when she came to see me, worried sick because her sister had just suffered a major stroke. Margaret was terrified. She had high blood pressure, she was overweight, and she'd been ignoring the signs her body had been sending her for years. "Doctor," she said, "I don't want to end up like my sister. But I don't know where to start." 6 months later, Margaret walked into my office a completely different person. Her blood pressure was normal, she'd lost 25 pounds, and most importantly, she felt in control of her health for the first time in decades. What changed everything for her wasn't a miracle drug or a revolutionary treatment. It was implementing the exact 11 habits I'm about to share with you. The beautiful thing about these habits is that they work together like a symphony. Each one amplifies the others, creating a powerful protective shield around your cardiovascular system. And the best part? You can start with just one. Pick the one that resonates most with you, master it, and then add the next. Before you know it, these habits will become as natural as breathing. Let's start with something you do every single morning without thinking about it: eating breakfast. But here's what most people don't realize: the first thing you put in your mouth each day is either setting you up for stroke protection or quietly increasing your risk. After age 65, your body becomes incredibly sensitive to inflammation, and chronic inflammation is like a slow fire burning through your arteries. Think about it this way: your blood vessels are like a garden hose. When they're healthy and flexible, blood flows smoothly to your brain. But when inflammation damages them, they become stiff and narrow, like a hose that's been left in the sun too long. Eventually, something's going to block that narrow passage, and when it happens in your brain, that's a stroke. The good news is that certain foods can actually calm this inflammation and keep your blood vessels healthy and flexible. I'm talking about foods that are probably already in your kitchen right now, just waiting to become your daily medicine. Let me introduce you to what I call the stroke-fighting breakfast trinity, 3 types of foods that, when combined, create a powerful anti-inflammatory meal that protects your brain all day long. First, we have omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you've probably heard about these before, but let me tell you something that might surprise you. Just 1 tablespoon of chia seeds contains more omega-3s than a piece of salmon. These tiny seeds are like little inflammation fighters, and research published in the journal Stroke found that people who ate more omega-3s had a 27% lower risk of stroke. 27%. That's not a small number, that's the difference between worry and confidence. Here's how I want you to think about chia seeds. They're like tiny sponges that soak up liquid and create a gel-like texture. When you add them to your morning oats and let them sit for just 5 minutes, they transform your breakfast into a creamy, satisfying meal that keeps your blood sugar stable for hours. No more mid-morning energy crashes, no more reaching for sugary snacks. The fiber in chia seeds, about 5 grams per tablespoon, also helps slow the absorption of any sugars in your meal, preventing those dangerous blood sugar spikes that damage your arteries over time. Next, let's talk about berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These aren't just delicious, they're like little purple and red medicine capsules. They're packed with compounds called anthocyanins, which are basically nature's way of protecting your arteries from damage. Harvard researchers followed thousands of people and found that those who ate berries at least 3 times a week reduced their risk of heart attack and stroke by 32%. Think about that. Something as simple and enjoyable as eating berries 3 times a week can cut your stroke risk by almost a third. What makes berries so special? These anthocyanins work by strengthening the walls of your blood vessels and reducing oxidative stress. That's the cellular damage that occurs when your body is fighting inflammation. Fresh berries are best, but frozen berries are nearly as beneficial and often more affordable. You can add them to your oats, blend them into smoothies, or simply eat them as a snack. Even a half-cup serving provides significant protection. The third part of our trinity is whole grains, specifically oats. But not just any oats, I'm talking about plain, steel-cut or rolled oats, not those instant packets that are loaded with sugar. Real oats contain something called beta-glucan, which is like a gentle scrub brush for your arteries. It literally helps remove the bad cholesterol from your bloodstream before it can cause damage. The American Heart Association recommends at least 25 grams of fiber per day for optimal cardiovascular health, and starting your morning with half a cup of oats gives you a strong head start with around 4 grams of soluble fiber. This type of fiber forms a gel-like substance in your digestive system that binds to cholesterol and carries it out of your body. Studies have shown that people who eat oats regularly can reduce their LDL cholesterol, that's the bad kind, by up to 10%. Here's a simple recipe that takes less than 10 minutes to prepare but protects your brain for hours. Start with half a cup of cooked rolled oats. Add half a sliced banana for natural sweetness and potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure. Throw in half a cup of mixed berries for those protective anthocyanins. Sprinkle 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and 5 to 7 walnuts for healthy fats and protein. Add a pinch of cinnamon, which actually helps stabilize blood sugar, and if you want extra protein, add a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt. This isn't just breakfast, it's your daily insurance policy against stroke. And it tastes amazing. The combination of creamy oats, sweet fruit, crunchy nuts, and warming cinnamon creates a satisfying meal that will keep you full and energized for hours. But just as important as what you should eat is what you should avoid. Those instant oatmeal packets that seem so convenient. They often contain 12 to 16 grams of added sugar per serving. That's like eating 4 teaspoons of sugar first thing in the morning. Your blood sugar spikes, then crashes, triggering inflammation throughout your body and setting you up for cravings and energy crashes later in the day. Processed meats like bacon and sausage are even worse. Just 2 slices of bacon contain 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium, that's 20% of your entire daily limit in just 2 small pieces of meat. And that sodium doesn't just disappear, it stiffens your arteries and raises your blood pressure all day long. These processed meats also contain nitrates and other preservatives that have been linked to increased inflammation and cardiovascular damage. Even fruit juice, which seems healthy, is problematic. 1 cup of orange juice contains 22 grams of sugar with the same blood sugar impact as drinking a soda. When you eat a whole orange, the fiber slows down sugar absorption and provides bulk that helps you feel satisfied. When you drink orange juice, it's like mainlining sugar directly into your bloodstream, causing rapid spikes in blood glucose that damage your blood vessels over time. Now that we've revolutionized your breakfast, let's move to something equally important but often completely overlooked: what's in your glass. Because hydration plays a crucial role in stroke prevention that most people don't understand. And there's a hidden enemy in many drinks that's actually working against everything we just accomplished with that healthy breakfast. Here's something that shocked me when I first learned it as a young doctor. Over 60% of stroke patients arrive at the hospital dehydrated. 60%. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern that reveals how critical proper hydration is for brain health. Here's what happens when you don't drink enough water. Your blood becomes thicker, like honey instead of water. Thick blood moves slowly, clots easily, and puts enormous strain on your heart as it tries to pump this sluggish fluid through your arteries. It's like trying to drink a milkshake through a narrow straw. Everything has to work harder. When your blood is properly hydrated, it flows smoothly through even the smallest blood vessels in your brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients efficiently while carrying away waste products. But when you're dehydrated, even mildly, your blood volume decreases and your blood becomes more concentrated. This forces your heart to work harder to maintain circulation, raising your blood pressure and increasing the risk of clots forming. And here's the cruel irony: as we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. You might not feel thirsty, but your body is desperately crying out for water. Your kidneys also become less efficient at conserving water, and you may be taking medications that have diuretic effects. This is why I tell all my patients over 65 to drink water on a schedule, not based on thirst. Keep a glass or bottle of water within arm's reach at all times. Fill it first thing in the morning and make it your goal to finish it by lunch. Then fill it again. Set reminders on your phone if you need to. Aim for 6 to 8 cups a day, more if you're active or live in a warm climate. If you're concerned about frequent bathroom trips, start gradually and allow your body to adjust. But here's where things get interesting, and where most people unknowingly sabotage their hydration efforts. I'm talking about added sugar, the hidden enemy that's lurking in foods you'd never suspect. Sugar doesn't just add calories, it actively dehydrates you. When you consume sugar, your body has to pull water from your tissues to help process it. So that sweet yogurt or granola bar isn't just adding empty calories, it's literally stealing water from your body when you need it most. This creates a vicious cycle where the more sugar you eat, the more dehydrated you become, and the thicker your blood gets. The American Heart Association recommends that women limit added sugar to 24 grams per day and men to 36 grams. But most people consume far more than that, often without realizing it. One flavored yogurt can contain 20 grams, almost an entire day's worth for women. A can of soda has nearly 40 grams. Even a so-called healthy granola bar might pack 15 grams. A single tablespoon of ketchup contains 4 grams of sugar, and many people use much more than that. Reading labels becomes crucial here. Look for added sugars on nutrition labels, and be aware that sugar goes by many names: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, maltose, rice syrup, and dozens of others. Even foods that don't taste particularly sweet, like bread, salad dressing, and pasta sauce, often contain significant amounts of added sugar. So what's the solution? Choose whole fruits over processed sweets. A ripe banana or a handful of berries gives you natural sweetness, along with fiber that slows sugar absorption, plus vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that your body needs. The fiber in whole fruits helps you feel satisfied and prevents the blood sugar spikes that come with processed sugars. Flavor your water naturally with lemon slices, cucumber, or fresh mint to make it more appealing without adding sugar. Herbal teas like chamomile, peppermint, or ginger can also contribute to your daily fluid intake while providing additional health benefits. Sparkling water with a splash of 100% fruit juice can satisfy cravings for something fizzy without the sugar overload of soda. And here's a simple hydration routine that can become as automatic as brushing your teeth. Drink 1 glass of water first thing when you wake up. Your body has been without water for 8 hours, it's thirsty. Drink 1 glass before each meal. This not only helps with hydration but can also help with portion control by making you feel slightly full before you start eating. And drink 1 glass mid-afternoon, when energy typically dips and people reach for sugary snacks. Perfect. Now that we've optimized what you're eating and drinking, let's talk about the simplest yet most powerful physical habit you can adopt. And the beauty of this next strategy is that you can literally do it right after you finish eating that healthy breakfast we just planned. What would you say if I told you there was a way to reduce your blood sugar by 22% using nothing but your own 2 feet? The secret I'm about to share with you is so simple that most people dismiss it, yet so powerful that it could be the single most important habit you adopt for stroke prevention. I'm talking about taking a gentle 10-minute walk after every meal you eat. Not a power walk, not a jog, not an intense workout, just a leisurely stroll that feels as natural as having a conversation with a friend. Here's what happens inside your body every time you eat, especially meals containing carbohydrates. Your blood sugar naturally rises, that's completely normal. But in people over 65, this spike can be sharper and last longer, particularly if you do what most people do after eating, sit down and stay put. When blood sugar remains elevated, it's like sandpaper scraping against the walls of your arteries, causing inflammation and damage that accumulates over time. This process, called glycation, occurs when excess sugar in your bloodstream binds to proteins in your blood vessel walls, making them stiff and prone to damage. Over months and years, this glycation contributes to atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of arteries that can lead to stroke. The higher your blood sugar spikes and the longer they last, the more damage occurs. But here's where the magic happens. When you take just a 10-minute walk after eating, your muscles immediately start using that excess blood sugar for energy instead of letting it linger in your bloodstream. It's like having a natural blood sugar regulator built right into your own body, and all you have to do is activate it by moving. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Diabetologia tracked people who walked for just 10 minutes after meals and found something remarkable. Their blood sugar spikes were reduced by 22%. 22%. And this wasn't after weeks or months of walking, this happened immediately, after just 1 walk. The researchers also found that this simple habit was more effective at controlling blood sugar than a single 30-minute walk taken at another time of day. Let me tell you about Robert, a 71-year-old retired teacher who came to see me last year. His blood sugar was creeping up, his energy was plummeting after meals, and he was worried about his increasing stroke risk. Robert had always been active, but like many retirees, he'd fallen into a pattern of eating and then settling into his favorite chair to read or watch television. I suggested he try the post-meal walking habit, and he looked at me skeptically. "Doctor," he said, "I've been sitting down after dinner for 40 years. You're telling me a little walk is going to make a difference?" I explained the science behind it, and Robert, being a former teacher, appreciated the research. He agreed to try it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, Robert called my office, excited. Not only were his blood sugar readings significantly better, but he felt more energetic, was sleeping better, and had lost 6 pounds without changing anything else about his diet. The walk had become his favorite part of the day, a peaceful time to think, to connect with his wife, and to feel proactive about his health. "It's amazing," he told me. "Something so simple has made such a big difference." The beauty of this habit is its simplicity. After breakfast, take a gentle 10-minute walk around your home, your yard, or even just up and down your hallway. After lunch, repeat. After dinner, and this is especially important because most people are most sedentary in the evening, take another gentle walk. You don't need special clothes, expensive equipment, or perfect weather. You can walk in place while tidying up your kitchen. You can stroll around your garden, checking on your plants. You can walk through your house, perhaps organizing or simply enjoying the movement. If the weather is bad, walk indoors. What matters is the movement, not the scenery. And here's something wonderful. You can make this social. Call a friend or family member and walk while you talk. Invite your spouse to join you. Many of my patients tell me their post-meal walks have become precious bonding time with their loved ones. Some couples use this time to discuss their day, plan weekend activities, or simply enjoy each other's company without the distractions of television or phones. The benefits extend far beyond blood sugar control. Walking after meals improves circulation throughout your body, ensuring that oxygen-rich blood reaches all your organs, including your brain. It naturally lowers blood pressure by helping your blood vessels relax and expand. It reduces that tired, sluggish feeling that often follows eating, known as postprandial somnolence. And it supports healthy weight management by encouraging your body to use food for energy rather than storing it as fat, all directly connected to lower stroke risk. This is particularly crucial after dinner. Think about the typical evening routine. You eat, you sit down to watch television or read, and then you go to bed. During all that time, your blood sugar can remain elevated, putting stress on your cardiovascular system during the hours when you should be healing and recovering. But when you take that gentle evening walk, you're essentially telling your body, "I'm taking care of you. I'm helping you process this meal efficiently so you can rest and repair tonight." It's a gift you give yourself every single day. Now, while we're talking about what you eat and how you move, there's another crucial element hiding right in your kitchen that could have an even more dramatic impact on your stroke risk. But this time, we're going to focus on what to remove rather than what to add. I'm talking about salt, and how this common seasoning, when overused, can silently transform your blood vessels from flexible, healthy tubes into stiff, narrow passages that dramatically increase your stroke risk. Here's a fact that might shock you. High blood pressure is the single most important controllable risk factor for stroke. Not cholesterol, not diabetes, not even smoking, blood pressure. And excess salt is one of the fastest, most direct ways to drive that pressure up, especially after age 65 when your kidneys and blood vessels become more sensitive to sodium. Let me put this in perspective for you. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon, a tiny amount. Yet the average American consumes more than 3,400 milligrams daily. That's more than double the safe amount, every single day. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't add that much salt when I cook. And you might be absolutely right. Here's the shocking truth. Nearly 70% of the salt we consume doesn't come from the salt shaker. It comes from processed foods, restaurant meals, and packaged items that don't even taste particularly salty. That innocent-looking can of soup? It might contain 800 milligrams of sodium, more than half your daily limit in one serving. A frozen dinner that's marketed as healthy? Often over 1,000 milligrams. 2 slices of deli turkey? 500 milligrams. Even a slice of bread can contain 150 milligrams. It adds up meal after meal, day after day, silently tightening your arteries like a slowly closing vice. Here's how excess sodium damages your cardiovascular system. When you consume too much salt, your body retains extra water to dilute the sodium concentration in your blood. This increases your blood volume, forcing your heart to pump harder to move the extra fluid through your circulatory system. Over time, this extra pressure damages the delicate lining of your arteries, making them more susceptible to inflammation and plaque buildup. But here's the hopeful part, and this is where we're going to transform your relationship with flavor forever. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that reducing daily sodium intake by just 1,000 milligrams can lower your blood pressure by an average of 5 to 6 points. And here's the really exciting part. Every 10-point drop in blood pressure is linked to a 27% lower risk of stroke. So the question becomes, how do you cut salt without sacrificing flavor? How do you make food that's not just healthy, but absolutely delicious? The answer lies in nature's pharmacy of herbs and spices, powerful, flavorful compounds that don't just replace salt, they actually provide additional protection for your cardiovascular system. Let me introduce you to what I call the flavor revolution. These aren't just seasonings, they're medicine disguised as deliciousness. Garlic is probably sitting in your kitchen right now, but you might not know that it contains a compound called allicin, which has been shown to reduce both blood pressure and cholesterol. When you roast garlic, it becomes sweet and mellow. When you mince it fresh, it adds a sharp, vibrant kick to any dish. Try adding roasted garlic to mashed potatoes instead of salt, or fresh minced garlic to your salad dressing. Studies have shown that people who consume garlic regularly have lower blood pressure and reduced risk of heart disease. Turmeric, that bright yellow spice that gives curry its color, contains curcumin, one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. It reduces inflammation in your blood vessels and improves circulation. Try adding a pinch to rice, scrambled eggs, or roasted vegetables. It has a warm, slightly earthy flavor that becomes addictive once you start using it. Research has shown that curcumin can help prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, reducing its ability to stick to artery walls. Fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, and basil aren't just fragrant, they're packed with plant compounds that support healthy arteries. Try them fresh if you can find them, or use dried versions. Rosemary is particularly wonderful with roasted potatoes. Thyme pairs beautifully with chicken, oregano transforms any tomato-based dish, and basil can make even simple vegetables taste gourmet. These herbs contain antioxidants that help protect your blood vessels from damage. Lemon juice and apple cider vinegar add brightness and acidity that wakes up your taste buds and makes you crave salt less. A splash of lemon can transform steamed vegetables from bland to brilliant. Apple cider vinegar makes an amazing base for salad dressings and has been shown to help improve insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. And here's something that might surprise you. Extra virgin olive oil isn't just a cooking fat, it's a stroke-fighting food. It's rich in polyphenols and anti-inflammatory compounds that actually help lower blood pressure and reduce oxidative stress in your arteries. The Mediterranean diet, which features olive oil as a primary fat source, has been associated with significantly reduced risk of stroke and heart disease. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Most people making roasted potatoes would toss them in vegetable oil, sprinkle heavily with seasoning salt, and bake. That single-side dish can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium, more than half your daily limit. Now, let's reimagine those same potatoes using our flavor revolution approach. Toss them in extra virgin olive oil, add minced fresh garlic, sprinkle with rosemary and a dash of turmeric, and finish with a squeeze of lemon juice after roasting. The sodium content? Under 100 milligrams. The flavor? Rich, earthy, bright, and deeply satisfying. Your taste buds will be happy, and your arteries will be even happier. If the idea of reducing salt feels overwhelming, start small. Cook one meal a day from scratch using herbs and spices instead of salt. Use half the salt you normally would and double the herbs and spices. Taste your food before automatically reaching for the salt shaker. You might be surprised to find you don't need it. Here's something encouraging. Your taste buds adapt remarkably quickly. What might taste bland during your first week of reduced salt will taste perfectly seasoned within 2 to 3 weeks. Your palate will actually become more sensitive, and you'll start tasting the natural flavors in food that salt was masking. Many of my patients tell me that after a month of reducing salt, their old favorite foods taste unbearably salty. Speaking of natural rhythms and adaptation, let's move to something that affects every single one of these habits we've discussed, something you do for about 8 hours every day that can either amplify all the good work we've been doing or completely undermine it. I'm talking about sleep, and how your nighttime routine might be the missing piece in your stroke prevention puzzle. What if I told you that right now, while you're awake and alert, watching this video, your brain is planning for tonight? It's preparing for a period of repair, restoration, and protection that could be the difference between a healthy brain and one at risk for stroke. Yet most people over 65 treat sleep as just time off rather than recognizing it as one of the most critical periods for cardiovascular health. Here's something that shocked me early in my career. Up to 25% of strokes occur during sleep or within the first few hours of waking up. These aren't random events, they're often the result of what I call the perfect storm, a combination of disrupted sleep patterns, elevated nighttime blood pressure, and stress hormones that should be low but instead remain dangerously high throughout the night. Let me explain what happens inside your body during poor sleep, because understanding this will change how you think about your bedtime routine forever. When you don't get consistent, quality sleep, your body's natural rhythms become chaotic. Your blood pressure, which should naturally dip during sleep to give your cardiovascular system a break, instead remains elevated or even spikes higher. Stress hormones like cortisol, which should decrease at night, continue circulating through your bloodstream. And your body's ability to regulate blood sugar becomes impaired, leading to more inflammation and arterial damage. A major study published in the journal Neurology followed over 30,000 adults for nearly a decade, and what they discovered was eye-opening. People with irregular sleep patterns had a 22% higher risk of stroke compared to those who went to bed and woke up at consistent times, regardless of how many total hours they slept. This wasn't about sleep duration, it was about sleep consistency. Think about this for a moment. Your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, isn't just about feeling sleepy or alert. It's actually the conductor of an incredibly complex orchestra that includes your blood pressure, heart rate, hormone production, and inflammation levels. When this conductor loses the rhythm, the entire orchestra falls out of sync, and your stroke risk climbs dramatically. During normal, healthy sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops by 10 to 20%, giving your heart and blood vessels a chance to rest and repair. Your brain clears out waste products that accumulate during the day, including proteins that can contribute to cognitive decline. Your immune system strengthens, inflammation decreases, and your body produces growth hormone that helps repair damaged tissues. But when your sleep is disrupted or inconsistent, none of these protective processes work properly. Your blood pressure may remain elevated throughout the night, your brain can't clear out toxins effectively, and inflammation persists. It's like forcing your cardiovascular system to work overtime without any recovery period. Here's your 5th stroke prevention habit: establish a regular sleep and wake time, and stick to it 7 days a week. I know this might sound restrictive, especially if you're retired, and feel like you've earned the right to keep whatever schedule you want. But I'm asking you to think of this not as a restriction, but as a gift to your future self. Choose a bedtime that allows for 7 to 8 hours of sleep and a wake time that feels natural for your lifestyle. Maybe it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., or 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The exact times matter less than the consistency. Your body craves predictability, and when you give it that gift, it responds by optimizing all the systems that protect you from stroke. But there's another sleep saboteur that becomes particularly problematic after age 60, and it's probably something you enjoy every day: caffeine. Now, I'm not going to tell you to give up your morning coffee. That morning cup can actually be part of a healthy routine for most people. But what many people don't realize is that caffeine can stay active in your system for 6 to 8 hours after you consume it. This means if you have coffee at 3 p.m., it could still be affecting your brain at 9 or 10 p.m., making it harder to fall asleep, reducing the quality of your deep sleep, and keeping your blood pressure elevated when it should be naturally declining for the night. And here's something crucial: as we age, our livers metabolize caffeine more slowly. That afternoon cup of coffee that had no effect on your sleep in your 40s might now be the reason you're lying awake at night in your 70s. Your body hasn't changed its need for good sleep, it's just become more sensitive to the things that interfere with it. So here's the rule I give all my patients: avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. I know that might mean giving up that afternoon coffee or tea ritual, but I promise you, the improvement in your sleep quality will more than make up for it. Instead, let me introduce you to some wonderful caffeine-free alternatives that actually support heart health and promote calm. Chamomile tea has been used for centuries to promote relaxation, and has compounds that may help lower blood pressure. Rooibos tea is naturally sweet and caffeine-free, with a rich, satisfying flavor that many people find even more enjoyable than regular tea. Lemon balm or passionflower teas are used traditionally to support sleep and reduce anxiety. Even a simple cup of warm water with lemon can become a comforting evening ritual. Quality sleep isn't just about when you go to bed or what you drink. It's about creating an environment and routine that signals to your body that it's time to shift into repair and restoration mode. Start dimming the lights in your home about an hour before bedtime. This signals your brain to start producing melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Turn off screens, televisions, tablets, phones, because the blue light they emit can interfere with melatonin production. Instead, use that final hour for calming activities. Read a physical book, listen to gentle music, do some light stretching, or practice the breathing exercises I'll teach you later. This isn't just about falling asleep, it's about transitioning your entire nervous system from the active, alert mode of daytime to the calm, restorative mode of night. Think of sleep as medicine for your cardiovascular system. During quality sleep, your blood pressure naturally drops, giving your heart and arteries a chance to rest and repair. Your brain clears out waste products that accumulate during the day. Your immune system strengthens, and inflammation decreases throughout your body. Poor sleep, on the other hand, is like forcing your cardiovascular system to work overtime without a break. It's like running a marathon every day without any recovery time. Eventually, something has to give, and unfortunately, that something is often a stroke or heart attack. Now, as we optimize your sleep for maximum protection, there's something else you can't see but can definitely learn to monitor, something that could literally be life-saving and requires nothing more than your own 2 fingers and about 1 minute of your time. I want to talk to you about one of the most dangerous and underdiagnosed stroke risk factors in people over 65. An irregular heartbeat called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. The statistics are sobering. AFib increases your stroke risk by 5 times. 5 times. And here's what makes it particularly dangerous. Many people with AFib don't feel any symptoms at all. It can be completely silent, lurking in the background until something catastrophic happens. Here's what's happening when you have AFib. Normally, your heart beats in a steady, coordinated rhythm. The upper chambers contract, followed by the lower chambers, moving blood efficiently through your body and to your brain. But with AFib, the upper chambers flutter chaotically instead of contracting normally. This irregular beating can cause blood to pool in the heart and form clots. If one of those clots breaks free and travels to your brain, that's a stroke. The truly alarming part is that strokes caused by AFib tend to be more severe and have a higher risk of long-term disability than other types of strokes. But here's the hopeful news. AFib is detectable, and it's treatable, especially when caught early. Let me teach you a simple technique that could save your life. It's called checking your pulse, and while it might seem old-fashioned in our age of digital health monitors, it's still one of the most reliable ways to detect irregular heart rhythms. Here's how to do it. Sit quietly and relax for a minute. This is important because movement or stress can temporarily affect your heart rhythm. Place your index and middle finger on your wrist, just below the base of your thumb on the side closest to your body. Press lightly, you don't need to press hard, until you feel your pulse. It might take a moment to find it, and that's perfectly normal. Now, count the beats for 15 seconds, then multiply by 4 to get your heart rate per minute. A normal resting heart rate for older adults is typically between 60 and 100 beats per minute. But here's what's even more important than the number. Pay attention to the rhythm. Is it steady and regular, thump, 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 like a metronome? Or is it irregular, thump, pause, thump, thump, skip? A regular rhythm is what we want to feel. An irregular pattern, especially one that feels chaotic or unpredictable, could be a sign of AFib and warrants immediate medical attention. I want to share some warning signs that might indicate AFib, because recognizing these symptoms could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. A fluttering sensation in your chest, like butterflies, or a pounding heartbeat that seems too strong or too fast. Shortness of breath, especially with light activity that normally wouldn't bother you. Feeling tired or weak without any clear reason. Dizziness or lightheadedness, particularly when standing up. And sometimes, just a general sense that something feels off with your heart. If you notice any of these symptoms, or if you detect an irregular rhythm when checking your pulse, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Call your doctor and ask for a simple test called an ECG or electrocardiogram. It takes just a few minutes and can definitively determine whether your heartbeat is regular or irregular. Here's why this is so critically important. Nearly 1 in 10 people over age 80 have AFib, and many don't know it. They're walking around with a stroke risk that's 5 times higher than normal, completely unaware that simple, effective treatments could dramatically reduce their risk. If AFib is detected early, there are excellent treatment options. Blood-thinning medications can dramatically reduce stroke risk. Medications can help control heart rhythm. In some cases, procedures like cardioversion or ablation can restore normal rhythm. Even pacemakers, when necessary, can be life-changing. Let me tell you about Frank, a 76-year-old retired mechanic who came to see me for a routine checkup. He felt fine, had no symptoms, and was proud of his good health. During our visit, I taught him how to check his pulse, just as I'm teaching you now. Frank was skeptical. "Doc, my heart feels fine," but he was willing to learn. 3 weeks later, Frank called my office. While checking his pulse as part of his new morning routine, he'd noticed some irregularity. We brought him in immediately for an ECG, which confirmed AFib. Frank was shocked. He felt perfectly normal. But his stroke risk was dangerously elevated. We started Frank on appropriate treatment, and 6 months later, he told me, "Doctor, learning to check my pulse was the best thing I ever learned. I had no idea I was walking around with a time bomb in my chest." Frank's stroke risk is now well controlled, and he's become an advocate for pulse checking among his friends. I encourage you to make pulse checking part of your daily routine. Check it once a day for a week to get familiar with your normal rhythm. Keep a simple note of how it feels. Your pulse can vary slightly throughout the day. It might be slower in the morning and faster after physical activity or caffeine. What you're looking for are significant changes or persistent irregularities. This brings us beautifully to our next stroke prevention strategy, one that's incredibly practical and can make the difference between making healthy choices and falling back on convenient but harmful options. I'm talking about meal preparation, what I like to call prep to prevent. Think about what happens when you're tired, hungry, and short on time. Do you reach for the healthiest option available, or do you grab whatever's easiest? If you're like most people, convenience wins over health every time. That's not a character flaw, that's human nature. But it's also exactly how people end up eating foods loaded with sodium, sugar, and processed ingredients that increase stroke risk. But what if, instead of scrambling at the last minute, you had delicious, heart-healthy options ready and waiting in your refrigerator? What if healthy eating became the convenient choice? This is where meal preparation becomes your secret weapon against stroke. The concept is beautifully simple. When healthy meals are the easiest choice, they become the default choice. When you remove the friction and decision-making from healthy eating, you naturally start protecting your brain without even thinking about it. Let me explain why this works so powerfully. Decision fatigue is real, especially as we age. By the end of a long day, your brain is tired of making choices. When you open your refrigerator and see a pre-made, delicious, healthy meal right at eye level, and compare that to the effort required to cook something from scratch or the temptation of ordering takeout, the healthy choice becomes obvious. But preparation also builds consistency, which is crucial for stroke prevention. Your body thrives on receiving regular, steady nutrition that keeps blood pressure stable, cholesterol in check, and blood vessels protected. When healthy eating happens sporadically, your cardiovascular system is constantly adjusting to different inputs. When it happens consistently, your entire system can optimize itself for protection and health. Let me share 2 simple, senior-friendly recipes that you can prepare ahead of time, store easily, and grab whenever hunger strikes. These aren't just convenient, they're specifically designed to fight inflammation, support heart health, and protect your brain. First, what I call antioxidant fruit and nut cups. Take a large bowl and mix together chopped apples and pears. The fiber helps regulate blood sugar and provides bulk that helps you feel satisfied. Add a generous handful of blueberries or raspberries for those powerful anthocyanins we discussed earlier. Include a sprinkle of walnuts or almonds for healthy fats and protein that keep you satisfied and support brain health. Add a dash of cinnamon, which actually helps stabilize blood sugar levels and adds warmth and sweetness without any added sugar. Portion this mixture into small containers and store them in your refrigerator. You now have grab-and-go breakfasts or snacks that are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats. No morning decisions required, no processed sugars, just pure nutrition that supports blood flow and reduces inflammation. Each container provides sustained energy that won't cause blood sugar spikes, and the combination of protein, healthy fats, and fiber helps you feel satisfied for hours. The second recipe is my favorite. Overnight chia oatmeal jars. In a mason jar, combine half a cup of rolled oats with 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. Add half a cup of unsweetened almond milk or oat milk, and a few frozen berries or banana slices. Let this mixture soak overnight in your refrigerator, and by morning, you have a creamy, satisfying breakfast packed with soluble fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, and stable energy that won't spike your blood sugar. The beauty of this recipe is its versatility. You can add different fruits, nuts, or spices to create variety. Try adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a sprinkle of cocoa powder for a chocolate version, or some grated apple with extra cinnamon for an apple pie flavor. The chia seeds expand overnight, creating a pudding-like texture that's incredibly satisfying. Both of these recipes take less than 10 minutes to prepare, and you can make 3 to 4 servings at once, giving you healthy options for half the week. The beauty is in their simplicity and nutritional power. If you prefer savory options, try this. Cook a batch of quinoa. This complete protein contains all essential amino acids and has a mild, nutty flavor. Roast a variety of vegetables, bell peppers, zucchini, carrots, broccoli, whatever you enjoy. Toss them with olive oil and herbs like rosemary, thyme, or oregano, then portion them into containers. Add a hard-boiled egg or some beans for additional protein. You now have complete, balanced meals ready to eat that provide steady energy and heart-protective nutrients. Here's a crucial tip. Store your prepared meals in clear containers and place them at eye level in your refrigerator. When hunger strikes, the healthy option should be the first thing you see. Psychology matters enormously in food choices, and visibility drives selection. If you have to dig around to find your healthy meals while less healthy options are front and center, guess which ones you'll choose. I also recommend keeping a grocery list of your go-to heart-healthy ingredients posted on your refrigerator. Include items like leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive oil, herbs, lean proteins like fish and beans, and whole grains. When it's time to shop, you're not guessing or wandering aimlessly through the aisles, you're shopping with purpose and intention. Consider dedicating one afternoon each week to meal prep. Make it enjoyable by playing your favorite music or listening to a podcast. Some people find it relaxing and meditative, a time to focus on caring for themselves. Others make it social by involving family members or friends. But here's something crucial about stroke prevention that many people overlook: it's not something you should do alone. In fact, there's compelling research showing that the people around you can be just as important as the food you eat or the exercise you do. Social connection isn't just about happiness, it's about health. Studies have shown that social isolation increases stroke risk by 32% and significantly raises the chance of complications if a stroke does occur. This isn't just correlation, there are real physiological mechanisms at work. Loneliness increases stress hormones like cortisol, which can raise blood pressure and promote inflammation throughout your body. It makes it harder to stick with healthy habits like regular exercise or meal preparation because there's no accountability or encouragement. Social isolation can quietly worsen depression or anxiety, both of which are linked to cardiovascular health issues. When you're isolated, you're also more likely to neglect self-care, skip medical appointments, and ignore warning signs of health problems. But here's the beautiful flip side. Social connection is medicine. Having people in your corner provides accountability for healthy habits. You're more likely to stick with your walking routine if someone is expecting to meet you. It offers emotional support during challenging times, which helps keep stress hormones in check. Social connections often provide practical help with everything from grocery shopping to remembering medications. And perhaps most importantly, meaningful relationships give you a sense of purpose and reasons to stay healthy. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to build a support network around your health goals. This doesn't mean you need dozens of friends. Research shows that even one or two strong, supportive relationships can make an enormous difference in health outcomes. Start by looking for people who share your commitment to healthy living. Join a walking group at your local community center or in your neighborhood. Many communities have groups specifically for seniors that meet regularly for gentle exercise and social interaction. Look for gentle yoga or Tai Chi classes designed for seniors. These provide both physical benefits for balance and flexibility, and social connection with like-minded people. Consider volunteering at organizations like food pantries, libraries, hospitals, or churches, where purpose and community go hand in hand. Volunteering provides a sense of meaning and connection while often involving physical activity and mental stimulation. It's a triple win for your health. If leaving home is challenging due to mobility issues or transportation concerns, don't let that stop you. There are wonderful online communities for older adults focused on health, wellness, and connection. Video calls with family members provide face-to-face interaction that's almost as beneficial as in-person contact. Regular phone conversations with friends, participation in online discussion groups, or even joining virtual fitness classes can provide meaningful social interaction. Remember, stroke prevention isn't something you should do alone. In fact, it works better when you don't do it alone. When you have people who care about your success, who check in on your progress, and who share the journey with you, healthy habits become easier to maintain and more enjoyable to practice. Building on this foundation of social support, let's address two more critical aspects of your well-being that have profound impacts on stroke risk but are often completely overlooked: your mental and emotional health. The first is stress management, and I want to share with you a simple technique that can lower your blood pressure within minutes and provide protection that lasts for hours. Chronic stress is like having your foot permanently pressed on your body's accelerator pedal. It keeps your blood pressure elevated, promotes inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system, and makes your blood more likely to clot. People with high stress levels have a 22% higher stroke risk, and after age 65, stress recovery takes longer, making management crucial. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to help you deal with immediate threats. They increase your heart rate, raise your blood pressure, and prepare your body for action. This response is helpful in true emergencies, but when stress becomes chronic, these hormones circulate continuously, causing ongoing damage to your cardiovascular system. Chronic stress also affects your behavior in ways that increase stroke risk. When you're stressed, you're more likely to eat poorly, skip exercise, smoke, drink alcohol, and neglect self-care. You might have trouble sleeping, which compounds the cardiovascular damage. Stress can also make you more socially isolated as you withdraw from activities and relationships. But here's the good news: stress management doesn't require expensive therapy or complicated techniques. Simple, evidence-based strategies can provide immediate relief and long-term protection. Here's a powerful technique called 4 to 7 -8 breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold your breath for 7 counts, exhale through your mouth for 8 counts. Repeat 3 to 4 times, twice daily. This technique activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response that counteracts stress. It immediately lowers heart rate and blood pressure, reduces cortisol levels, and promotes a sense of calm. The beauty of this technique is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. When you're stuck in traffic, waiting for a doctor's appointment, or feeling overwhelmed by daily challenges, you have an immediate tool to reset your nervous system. You can also try gentle stretching for just 5 minutes. Focus on areas where you hold tension: your neck, shoulders, and back. Stretching releases physical tension and signals to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day might sound simple, but research shows that gratitude practices actually change brain chemistry, reducing stress hormones and promoting feelings of well-being. It also helps shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right in your life. Spending 10 minutes outdoors, even if it's just sitting on your porch or looking out a window at nature, has been shown to reduce stress hormones and lower blood pressure. There's something about natural light and green spaces that our brains find inherently calming. Listening to calming music, classical, soft jazz, or nature sounds, can lower cortisol levels and reduce anxiety. Create a playlist of music that makes you feel peaceful and use it during stressful times. Interacting with pets, if you have them, releases oxytocin, a hormone that promotes bonding and reduces stress. Even watching videos of animals can have a calming effect. Set phone reminders for breathing breaks throughout the day. Practice during stressful moments like doctor visits or family conflicts. Combine stress management with other habits. Try deep breathing during your post-meal walks. Create a calm corner in your home with comfortable seating where you can retreat when stress builds. The second crucial mental health habit is engaging in brain-boosting activities. Mental stimulation improves blood flow to the brain and builds what researchers call cognitive reserve, protection against stroke damage. People who engage in complex mental activities have a 23% lower stroke risk. Think of your brain like a muscle: the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Mental stimulation creates new neural pathways and strengthens existing ones, improving your brain's ability to adapt and recover from injury. Even if a stroke were to occur, people with higher cognitive reserve tend to have better outcomes and faster recovery. Spend 15 to 20 minutes daily on activities that challenge your mind. Reading anything that challenges your comprehension, books, newspapers, magazines, improves vocabulary, memory, and critical thinking skills. Choose material slightly above your comfort level to provide mental stretch without frustration. Doing puzzles like crosswords, Sudoku, or jigsaw puzzles exercises different cognitive skills including memory, problem solving, and spatial reasoning. Start with easier puzzles and gradually increase difficulty as your skills improve. Playing card games like bridge, solitaire, or memory games challenges strategic thinking, memory, and concentration. These games also provide social interaction if played with others. Writing in a journal, composing letters to family, or creating short stories exercises language skills, memory, and creativity. Writing by hand, rather than typing, provides additional cognitive benefits. Learning new skills like languages, musical instruments, or crafts creates new neural pathways and provides a sense of accomplishment. It's never too late to learn something new. Your brain retains plasticity throughout life. Make it social when possible. Join book clubs or discussion groups where you can share ideas and perspectives. Teach skills to grandchildren or community members. Teaching requires you to organize and articulate knowledge in new ways. Play strategy games with friends, combining mental stimulation with social connection. Share life stories and family history, which exercises memory and provides meaning. Try dual-task activities that combine physical and mental exercise. Walking meditation where you count steps while observing your surroundings challenges both body and mind. Garden planning involves physical work plus mental problem solving and planning. Dancing requires remembering steps, coordination, and often social interaction. Cooking new recipes from different cultures combines following directions, timing, creativity, and cultural learning. For those comfortable with technology, try brain training apps like Lumosity or Peak, online learning platforms, or virtual museum tours. For those who prefer traditional approaches, consider library programs, community college classes, or crafting groups. Start with one enjoyable mental activity for 15 minutes daily. After a couple weeks, add a social component, discuss what you're reading with a friend or join a group activity. By month 2, rotate activities to challenge different cognitive areas, alternate between reading, puzzles, and creative activities. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's engagement. Even struggling with a challenging puzzle benefits brain health by creating new neural connections. The key is finding activities you enjoy so you'll stick with them long term. These mental health habits work synergistically with everything else we've discussed. Stress management enhances sleep quality, improves social connections, and makes healthy eating more consistent. Mental activities support social connection through group participation and enhance your ability to track and manage your health effectively. Now, all of these habits we've discussed work together beautifully, but there's one final practice that ties everything together, a simple routine that takes just 5 minutes each week but could quite literally save your life. The final habit I want to share with you is perhaps the most important of all, because it brings everything we've discussed together into one cohesive, life-protecting system. I'm talking about becoming the CEO of your own health, taking ownership, staying informed, and maintaining a partnership with your healthcare team that could be the difference between catching problems early and facing a medical emergency. Think about this for a moment. You wouldn't drive a car for years without ever checking the oil, monitoring the tire pressure, or getting regular maintenance, would you? Your body deserves at least the same attention you give to your vehicle. After age 65, regular monitoring becomes your early warning system, helping you catch small changes before they become life-threatening emergencies. Here are the critical numbers every person over 65 should track religiously. Blood pressure, aiming for under 130/80 millimeters of mercury, resting heart rate and rhythm, so you can spot changes immediately. Cholesterol levels, especially LDL or bad cholesterol. Blood sugar, even if you're not diabetic, because rising glucose levels significantly increase stroke risk. and your weight and waist circumference, as abdominal weight gain is directly linked to increased cardiovascular risk. But here's where most people make a crucial mistake. They wait for their annual doctor's appointment to get this information, then promptly forget the numbers until the next visit. That's like checking your car's oil once a year and hoping nothing goes wrong in between. Instead, I want you to start a simple health journal. This doesn't need to be complicated. A small notebook or even a calendar will work perfectly. Each week, record whatever health metrics you can track at home. If you have a blood pressure monitor, write down your readings. Record your resting pulse rate and note if the rhythm feels regular. Track your energy levels, sleep quality, and any unusual symptoms like headaches, vision changes, dizziness, or balance problems. This journal becomes incredibly powerful over time. Patterns emerge that might not be obvious from day to day. Your healthcare team can see trends rather than just snapshots. And most importantly, you become an active participant in your health rather than a passive recipient of medical care. Let me tell you about George, a 74-year-old retired engineer who started keeping a health journal after attending one of my seminars. For months, his entries were beautifully consistent: blood pressure stable, energy good, sleep restful. Then one week, he noticed his resting heart rate had increased from its usual 68 beats per minute to 85, and it stayed elevated for several days. Because George was tracking consistently, he noticed this change immediately and called my office. We brought him in for evaluation and discovered early signs of a heart rhythm problem that could have led to serious complications if left untreated. Because we caught it early, treatment was simple and effective. George often says that his health journal saved his life. But tracking your cardiovascular health is only part of the picture. Many people don't realize that your eyes, mouth, and digestive system are all connected to your stroke risk in important ways. Vision changes can be an early warning sign of mini-strokes or rising blood pressure. That's why regular eye exams aren't just about glasses, they're about monitoring the tiny blood vessels in your retinas, which are often the first place damage from high blood pressure becomes visible. Your eye doctor can literally see the health of your blood vessels by looking into your eyes. Your mouth might seem unrelated to stroke risk, but gum disease has been directly linked to inflammation in your arteries. The same bacteria that cause gum problems can enter your bloodstream and contribute to the inflammatory processes that damage blood vessels. This is why maintaining good dental hygiene and regular dental checkups are actually stroke prevention strategies. Your digestive health affects how well you absorb crucial nutrients, particularly B vitamins that are essential for brain health. If you're experiencing ongoing digestive issues, don't dismiss them as just part of aging. Mention them to your doctor, as they could be affecting your overall cardiovascular health. This is how you take control of your health destiny. Not by reacting to symptoms after they become serious, but by observing, tracking, and staying proactive. You become the expert on your own body, the person who knows when something feels different, and the advocate who speaks up when changes occur. The beauty of this final habit is that it only takes about 5 minutes each week to maintain your health journal, but it provides peace of mind every single day. You're no longer wondering if that slight headache is concerning or if your energy dip is normal. You have data, you have trends, and you have the confidence that comes from being informed about your own health. Now, let's step back and look at the complete journey we've taken together. You've learned 11 powerful, science-backed habits that can dramatically reduce your stroke risk, starting each day with anti-inflammatory foods that calm your blood vessels, staying properly hydrated while avoiding hidden sugars that thicken your blood, taking gentle walks after meals to regulate blood sugar naturally, using flavorful herbs and spices instead of artery-damaging salt, maintaining consistent sleep schedules while avoiding late-day caffeine, monitoring your heart rhythm for early detection of dangerous irregularities, preparing healthy meals in advance to make good choices effortless, building social connections that support both your emotional and physical health, managing stress through simple breathing techniques that immediately lower blood pressure, engaging in mental activities that boost brain health and cognitive reserve, and finally, tracking your health metrics to stay informed and proactive about changes. These aren't just tips or suggestions, they're your toolkit for independence, your roadmap to confidence, and your gift to everyone who loves you. Each habit supports the others, creating a protective shield around your cardiovascular system that grows stronger with every day you practice them. The most beautiful part of this approach is that you don't need to implement everything at once. Think of it like learning to play a musical instrument. You start with one note, then add another, until eventually you're playing a beautiful symphony. Choose one habit that resonates with you. Maybe it's the post-meal walking because you enjoy the immediate energy boost, or perhaps the stress reduction breathing exercises because you can feel the calm wash over you immediately. Maybe you're drawn to the breakfast changes because they happen automatically every morning, or the meal prep because you love the feeling of being organized and prepared. There's no wrong place to start, there's only the decision to start. Some of my patients begin with the simplest changes, like checking their pulse daily or drinking a glass of water before each meal. Others dive into the meal preparation because it gives them a sense of control and accomplishment. Still others start with the social connections because they've been feeling isolated and realize they need people in their corner. What matters most is that you begin somewhere, today. Master that first habit until it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks, then add the second habit. Within 6 months, you could have all 11 habits working together like a well-oiled machine, protecting your brain and giving you confidence about your future. Remember Margaret, who I mentioned at the beginning. She didn't transform her health overnight. She started with just one habit, drinking more water. That success gave her confidence to add the post-meal walks. Then came the breakfast changes, then the sleep routine. Each small victory built on the last until she had created a lifestyle that protected her from the fate that had befallen her sister. 6 months after our first meeting, Margaret told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I used to wake up every morning worried about my health, wondering if today would be the day something terrible happened. Now I wake up feeling powerful, knowing that every choice I make is building a stronger, healthier future. I'm not just living longer, I'm living better." You have that same power. Right now, in this moment, you can make the decision that changes everything. You can choose to be passive about your health, hoping for the best while doing nothing different. Or you can choose to take control, to implement these evidence-based strategies that have helped thousands of people just like you reduce their stroke risk and reclaim their confidence. The choice is yours, but I hope you'll choose action. I hope you'll choose to start today, with just one habit. I hope you'll choose to give yourself the gift of protection, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're doing everything you can to safeguard your future. Your brain has carried you through decades of life, storing your precious memories, enabling your relationships, and housing everything that makes you uniquely you. It deserves your protection. Your family deserves to have you healthy and vibrant for years to come. And you deserve the confidence and peace of mind that comes from taking control of your health destiny. The science is clear. The strategies are simple. The choice is yours. Start today. Start now. Your future self is counting on you. In the comments below, tell me which of these 11 habits resonates most with you. Which one will you start with? And if you found this information helpful, please share it with someone you care about. Because stroke prevention shouldn't be a secret, it should be knowledge that everyone over 65 has access to. Remember, you're not just preventing stroke, you're building a life of vitality, independence, and confidence. You're creating a future where you can continue to be there for the people you love, continue to pursue the activities that bring you joy, and continue to make the impact on the world that only you can make. The time for action is now. Your brain, your heart, your family, and your future are all counting on the decisions you make today. Take that first step. Your journey to stroke prevention and lifelong health begins right now.